I'm Mike O'Dowd, founder of Defense Strategies Group, and one of the questions we get asked all the time is it safe to carry with a round in the chamber? You want to take a few considerations into account. First, is it safe, and do you feel comfortable with it? Two, any legal considerations for where you live. You want to also factor in your muscle memory considerations. Have you trained that way, or are you just carrying that way? And lastly, you want to think about the time consideration. Is it faster or slower to carry with a round in the chamber? And we're going to show you that today. So let's address the first question. Is it safe? Well, the answer is yes, it's quite safe. Data would show overwhelmingly that rounds don't go off for no reason at all. It also shows that guns don't fire for no reason at all. But there's always that fear in people's minds of what if? And I think the biggest fear I see with people is they're afraid that when this weapon is pointed down and they bend over, if they're appendix carry, that they are going to press the gun hard enough to get that firing pin to fire a round off. There is no data suggesting that this happens. Now, if you have a weapon like a SIG 226 where there's a hammer and the hammer gets depressed real hard, is it possible? Well, there's a greater than 0% chance that it is possible, but it's still very, very unlikely. The force that would be required from your belly to squish over, it's very, very unlikely. With a Glock or another type of firearm that doesn't have a hammer, you don't have that issue. And I'm not selling Glocks in any way, but if you push this gun, if you hit it as hard as you can, it's not gonna send the firing pin forward, it's not gonna fire. So I think what it comes down to then is your comfortability. Now, if maybe you have an irrational fear where it will just go off, there's ways to mitigate it. For instance, if I carry in my appendix, there are a few very vital features that I wouldn't want to be shot. So then I just move the gun. I can move to the side, and then it's less vital if it gets shot. I could also move my weapon into a handbag or a side bag or a backpack. So carrying concealed doesn't just mean it has to be strapped to your body. So if you factor in all the data and you factor in all the different ways you could possibly mitigate and you weigh the different options, it's absolutely safe. It's overwhelmingly safe. If you're uncomfortable with carrying concealed with a round in the chamber, nothing says you have to, but you shouldn't do it based on fear. So the next question to cover is it legal? And the answer is different depending on where you live. But you're gonna wanna make sure to check it out for yourself, because I'm not a lawyer, I don't give out legal advice, I just know the laws in my location. So check out the USCCA's website. Another consideration you wanna look at is muscle memory and how you train. So I was a Navy SEAL for 9.5 years, and I've been a shooting instructor ever since. Something I see very critical is people who train, and let's say they don't train that often, they have muscle memory, whether it's good muscle memory or bad muscle memory. And something you need to factor in is if you're going to carry without a round in the chamber, you need to train on the range. Every time you draw, there's no round in the chamber. The way you train is the way you're gonna act in crisis. There's no rising to the occasion. You're gonna fall back on your lowest level of training. So if you choose to carry with a round in the chamber, you always train it that way. If you choose to carry with a round out of the chamber, you always train it that way, and there's no difference. And the last consideration you're gonna wanna factor in is time. How long does it take you to draw and fire your weapon versus draw, rack, chamber, and fire your weapon? Obviously, the latter is gonna be a little bit slower, but is it dramatically slower? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a few shots out of the holster, and we're gonna find out the delta, the difference between shooting out of the gate with a round chambered and shooting out of the gate with a round not in the chamber. So let's go check it out. So I'm about 5 yards off the target, and what I'm gonna do is run a few different baseline shots just out of the holster. The speed of the holster, none of that really matters. What really matters is the delta between shooting with one in the chamber versus having to rack it. So we're gonna shoot and see how it goes. All right, so we did a few baseline shots, and what I can just tell you right off the bat is it's so fast, and it's so nice to know if there's a threat and I have to draw under such a stressful circumstances. Like 99.99% of us will never have to draw our guns. But the idea that if I did have to draw my gun, it's ready now, ready to go. I don't have to think about it. It's pretty nice. All right, now we've got an empty chamber, and we're gonna see the difference of the draw when you have to punch out, rack, and take your shots. See if there's any time difference. I can tell you right now that this is really uncomfortable. I don't have muscle memory for this, and it's making me consciously think about something I have to do. Not to say you can't do it, but I don't train this way, so it's very important to consider the muscle memory. All right, so for me personally, I gotta say, because I don't train not in the chamber, it's a really awkward thing. I would never wanna do this without at least pumping 1,000 rounds through this gun on single draws, racking it, just to build that muscle memory. I would also wanna consciously think about it every time I'm gonna have to rack, every time I'm gonna have to rack. That's just me personally. It's definitely slower. Am I comfortable with it being a half a second slower, a quarter second slower, whatever that time delta is gonna be for you, or is it not okay? And if it's not okay, then just carry it in the chamber. But I think it's safe to say after running these drills, it's very safe. You should not be scared to carry in the chamber. It is faster, and there's a whole bunch of other reasons why you should carry around in the chamber. So to summarize, there's a few different factors you have to consider. Is it dangerous? Well, I think we've shown it's not dangerous. It's more about comfortability. Are you comfortable running with a round in the chamber? Hopefully you are, but training is going to mitigate a lot of that, and also where you carry will mitigate a lot of that irrational fear. Is it legal? Well, that depends where you live. Check out USCCA for information on laws in your area. Time. Well, I think we've proven it is a little bit faster to have one in the chamber. It's always going to be faster because it's one less step. But are you okay with that speed difference? Are you okay with going just a little bit slower to make you feel more comfortable? Those are personal decisions you're gonna have to make. And then lastly, the muscle memory. I showed to myself, I don't have the muscle memory to have one not in the chamber. I'm so used to having it in the chamber. I'll always train it that way. But no matter how you carry, whether it's in the chamber or not in the chamber, you always have to train it that way. Don't deviate, and don't go back and forth. Hey, before you go, make sure you check out the free giveaway that USCCA has going on right now. The link is below in the description where you can get all the details on how you can enter.